at the end of the row here. Good morning. Can everybody hear me? Great. We're expecting a lot of people, and as you can see, a lot more are coming through the gates. If you have any open benches next to you, if you could scoot over so that people that are standing have an opportunity to sit. For the folks on the west side, I can see a lot of open spaces down low. You might make your way and try to find a seat down there. In just a few moments, the commencement ceremony will begin, and the processional will be coming through on the east side through two gates. We ask the audience to please stay seated during the processional, and then we will have a host that will help guide you through some of the next steps in the next part of the program. Thank you.
Move it to where you need us. Yeah, I need to stand up so I can see everything smile. I use these to drop off. Bro, come on. Well, actually, he sat on my lap, so it was like even harder.
And ladies and gentlemen. Would the audience please stand as the UNC Police Department Honor Guard approaches the stage from the center field for the presentation of colors, and while Alan Adair leads us in singing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, and please be seated. Welcome to the University of Northern Colorado's Spring Undergraduate Commencement Ceremony. My name is Dr. Vish Iyer, and I'll be your host for today's ceremony. We offer a special, very special thank you to the University Commencement Band and conductors Kenneth Singleton and Richard Main for the music played during the processional. In addition, we appreciate Alan Adair leading us in singing the national anthem. Alan is receiving both a Bachelor of Music in Instrumental Performance and Bachelor of Music in Vocal Performance today. We're, of course, really grateful to our UNC Police Department Honor Guard for presenting our national colors. Our student farewell address this morning will be given by Jacqueline Olfers. Jackie will be receiving her Bachelor of Science degree in Audiology and Speech Language today. And Jackie will be followed by Student Body President Tim Hernandez, who would like to share a few comments with the graduating class of 2019.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Olfers, and as we step into a new chapter of life, there are 3 qualities I want you all to remember and embrace. The first quality we should hold is nervousness. Although we have been looking forward to this graduation day for a long while and are excited to see what the real world has to offer, we are also nervous. I don't mean the dictionary definition, easily agitated or alarmed. When I say nervous, thank you. Thanks. sorry. When I say nervous, I want us all to imagine we are at the edge of the pool, no one knowing what's next. The pool is deep and seems scary, but we can't go back because we have all come so far. But then we each realize there is only one way to go, and that is head first with excitement and anticipation. This is not a bad thing, to be nervous. To be nervous means you care. If you did not care about your next step, if you were complacent in life, being blown by the wind, you would not be nervous. Whether you are stepping into a position in a company, continuing your education, or simply taking a breath before the next moments of life, you should be nervous, because what the world has to offer, and more importantly, what you have to offer the world, is going to be incredible. The second attribute we need is gratitude. No matter how you got here, sitting at this commencement ceremony, someone was behind you, pushing you to be your best. Gratitude means readiness to show appreciation, and more importantly, readiness to return kindness. Whether it was your parents or guardians who nagged you for 4 years, or your friends who picked you up after a failed attempt, or your professors and advisors who never gave up on you and pushed you to excellence, please show them gratitude. However, never forget the one, maybe most important person in this journey, yourself. You did this. You're the one who went to the classes, cried the tears of frustration, and put in the late nights of studying. Thank yourself and be proud of what you have accomplished. And now it is time to show gratitude to the world. To the world by returning what you have gained. It does not matter what your career will be, an accountant, a doctor, a musician. All that matters is how you will use your talent and your education to further this world. Finally, embrace the quality of human. This is an adjective that encompasses many traits. However, I want you all to remember the most important part about being human. You will make mistakes. We are all young and fresh-faced and feel like nothing can stop us now at graduation. Soon enough, we will enter the workforce and our invincibility will come crashing down. This is not a bad thing. We need to be reminded and remind ourselves that we are human and we cannot do everything. This is not to say to live your life timid and in fear of failure. It's not to scare you and not to make you feel less, but just a reminder to forgive yourself and to forgive others. But the next part of making mistakes is standing up, admitting you were wrong, and fixing the situation and bettering yourself. We have the ability to grow and develop as humans, to learn from every situation. So yes, please embrace your humanity. Embrace being imperfect, because through our imperfections, we can become better coworkers, friends, family members, and humans. So in conclusion, class of spring 2019, I ask you to embrace the qualities of nervousness, gratitude, and human. Use these qualities to their fullest every day, no matter where your future leads. Let your nervousness lead to passion, your gratitude lead to great contributions, and your human tendencies lead to growth and development. Open and further this world with your talent and enthusiasm. And with this world wide open for us now, we can give everything we have, so when we are done, we can truthfully say, I have fully lived, and I have nothing more to give. Thank you.
Give me a second, I'm gonna get Justin real quick if that's all right. How's everybody doing out there? Oh, no. I don't think you understand how special of a day this is. How's everybody doing out there? Thank you. This is a lot of work up here, so I need some energy from y'all, if that's okay. Yeah? Hello, everybody. My name is Tim Hernandez, and I'm speaking to you today as my last day as the student body president here at the University of Northern Colorado. And I want to first say that I'm honored to have the opportunity to speak to our graduates here at UNC. On a day as special as today, I cannot help but express my deepest congratulations to all that have reached this tremendous milestone in your lives. But I can't help but remember the last time I was on a stage like this. The last time I was on a stage like this, I was participating in my 8th grade continuation. And I can honestly say that I never thought at that time during the 8th grade that I would ever reach a place like this in my life. I mean, I barely even understood concepts like washing my own hands, let alone like going to events and graduation and what you're supposed to wear and what time you're supposed to be there. Which is why the night before my 8th grade continuation, I asked my dad where I could buy a pair of dress shoes. In response, my dad took me to everybody's favorite store, Ross Dress for Less. Yeah? He took me to Ross Dress for Less. We spent $12 on a pair of black dress shoes. The only problem was that the shoes were a size 10, and in the 8th grade, I wore a much smaller size. I expressed my concern, and my dad responded in the thing that I'm pretty sure every dad says, and he said, well, you know, there's room to grow. And I trusted him because my dad has always known best. But what my dad didn't know is that 1 week earlier, I had submitted my final poetry anthology for my 8th grade English class. And I was excited when I hit it. I spent countless hours writing and rewriting and doing all these different types of things because I found out in the 8th grade that I loved the process of writing. So when I turned it in, I shared my excitement. I said, you know what, miss? I think this is what I want to do. I love writing. This is for me. And she replied to me and she said, oh, Tim, that's great. But people like you don't write. Her response has stuck with me from the time that I crossed the stage of my 8th grade continuation in my first pair of dress shoes until I stand on this stage and speak to you today. You see, when my 8th grade teacher told me people like you don't graduate, what she's talking about are historical groups of people in our country who are told that they do not embody the capability for success. That success cannot and will not ever be their own. Well, I'm proud to say that today I stand on the stage of a college graduation in the exact same pair of dress shoes I wore in my 8th grade continuation. They're beaten, they're rugged, they got holes, the soles are falling off, but as my dad promised, the shoes finally fit. So today, my speech is dedicated to all people who are told in our society that they do not embody the capability for success. This speech is dedicated to our graduates of color. This speech is dedicated to all of our female identifying graduates. This speech is dedicated to all of our graduates in the LGBT plus community. This speech is dedicated to all graduates who come from poor backgrounds, who may be disabled, who may be of different faiths, all different nationalities, and so many other diversities. I couldn't fit it into this speech. This speech is also dedicated to all the people that will walk across this stage today and become the first person in that family to get a college degree. So congratulations. But with this congratulations, with this dedication of this speech comes a responsibility. Congratulations. We now have the responsibility to rewrite the narrative of who is capable of success in this world. So go tell your students. Go tell your customers. Go tell your children. Go tell your clients, your patients, your audiences, and your constituents. Go tell them that we're making space for their success. Go tell them that we are working to uproot any system that inhibits their capability for success. Go tell them that we are rebuilding the world and that we are putting empathy, kindness, and hope in every brick. And most of all, as I conclude, go tell them that we need their help and that we cannot change the world without them. So thank you so much for your time. Si se puede, viva la raza, and congratulations once again.
Thank you very much, Jackie and Tim. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce to you the President of the University of Northern Colorado, Dr. Andy Feinstein.
Thank you, Dr. Iyer. And good morning, graduates and guests. Good morning. What a great day to be a Bear. And I am honored to be here with you to share in this momentous occasion. Graduates, today represents not only the culmination of your studies at UNC, but also your commencement on a journey of lifelong learning. Congratulations. Many people here today, including me, are proud of your accomplishments. You are surrounded by individuals who care, support, and believe in you. Would parents, family members, and supporters in attendance please stand and be recognized? That's family. That's you over there in the stands. Supporters, a big round of applause. Thank you. Our UNC trustees, staff, faculty, and university leaders, the people who make transformative education possible at UNC, are also proud of you. Trustee Paul Washington, faculty trustee Joan Kleinfelter, and student trustee Malika Michelle Fuller, thank you for being here today. Would our trustees, staff, and faculty please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Commencement is one of my favorite university events. It is a time for celebration, a day to remember. And it is a day to, and I cannot stress this enough, take lots of photos and videos. So graduates, I know this contradicts what you've heard in class, but do not be shy about using your phone today. Take selfies throughout the ceremony and post them to social media with the hashtag UNCBears. In fact, I'm now going to take a selfie from the podium with you right now. So I'm asking all the graduates to stand up for a second. Okay. I need you to get a little closer. Thank you. Please be seated. And that was a lot of fun. And I believe that we just made history. I'm pretty certain that that was our first UNC commencement ceremony selfie. And you have made history by being part of today's graduating class and joining over 154,000 students who have graduated from our university since its founding in 1889. Of the 1,483 students graduating today, 35 of you have earned double majors, and 22 of you are receiving double degrees. And that is remarkable. I was lucky to graduate with just one major. And you have come to Greeley from 49 states and 12 countries. And you range in age from 19 years old to 60 years old. You reflect the rich diversity that makes our nation strong, and many of you will be the first in their family to go to college. Among our graduates today are Army and Air Force ROT students and their officers. Captain Lena Moore and Lieutenant Colonel Adam Jung are here on behalf of the United States Army and Air Force. Would our ROT students and their officers please stand and be recognized? We also invite military personnel who are actively serving or are previously served to stand so we can acknowledge your service to our great nation. Thank you for your service. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce today's featured speaker, Ed Werder. Ed is a UNC graduate and an award-winning journalist. His vast reporting expertise includes covering 32 Super Bowls for outlets such as Westwood One, ESPN, CNN, Sports Illustrated, and the Dallas Morning News. He was recognized for his coverage of the Dallas Cowboys in the 1990s and now produces a podcast that gives listeners an inside look at the team. 2 years ago, the Professional Football Writers of America honored his long and distinguished career during the Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony. We are very proud of Ed and thank him for being here today. Please join me in welcoming him to the podium.
Good morning. First, I want to thank President Andy, I think that's what we call him now, the administration, the Board of Trustees, the faculty, and the many others responsible for the invitation to return to campus and share your special day. This is one of the great honors, not of my career, but of my life. I've written stories for hundreds of thousands of readers, TV scripts for an audience of millions, eulogies for lost friends and family members, and yet this commencement speech seemed especially challenging because it's something I've never done before, and I felt the message should be important to at least one of us. But this is your ceremony, not mine. I'm just here to congratulate you on the achievement, to share my story, to potentially inspire some of you, but most importantly, to remind you that the end of one success such as this is merely the beginning of the next. I encourage you to be bold and ambitious. As Robert Schuller once said, I'd rather attempt to do something great and fail than to attempt to do nothing and succeed. I was out there once where you are, 37 years ago to be exact, never expecting to be standing here in front of you today. In fact, if you look, I don't have any colorful regalia on like so many others up here. I don't have any stripes on my sleeve like so many others up here and even out there. I have more in common with you than I do with them. I think I graduated with as few credits as were possible at the time. In fact, I know it because I still have nightmares about there being some kind of a recount. And I don't know what my grade point average was, but I know now's not the time to inquire. So I was not an exceptional student, and I probably couldn't have been one. I just knew what I wanted to be, and I was determined to do that and to be great at it, assuming that was possible. And that, by the way, was a fair question. I can remember debate class over here in Candelaria Hall when I was here at UNC as a student. Turns out I'm really good at arguing, or so my wife and bosses tell me. Anyway, when I took that class, I was terrified to speak from the front of the room before the rest of the class. And yet I evolved from that to someone who can report to millions of people on live television, just as you'll evolve, develop skills and confidence in them. I'm only going to speak for about 10 minutes, and you should be glad to know that's total, not starting now. But I do want to share some personal stories, and I've leveraged the relationships that I've created with Super Bowl winning quarterback Drew Brees and two-time Super Bowl winning coach Bill Parcells to offer some wisdom that they would share if standing here in my place today, and I know everyone in the audience wishes that were so. It was amazing to me that when I received their advice for you, that it was perfect for my theme, which is the value of patience, persistence, and perseverance. The question every journalism student asks me is predictably, how do I get a job at ESPN? And the answer I give them is that it took me 15 years, and that's probably not the story you want to hear. But that's my story, because I wasn't incredibly fortunate or unbelievably talented but I also wasn't easily satisfied. Before I spent 20 years at ESPN, before I was honored at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I got passed over at the Arizona Daily Star in Tucson. I got rejected by the Hollywood Sun-Tatler in Florida. I got ignored by the Twin Falls Times-News in Idaho. But I took chances that failed. I failed sometimes. I left a writing position in a newspaper that existed for 100 years to take what seemed like a better one at a national paper that lasted 14 months. I had doubters and moments where I wondered if they had it right. When those times came, I got out the best of my work. I sat on the floor. I spread it all out before me, and I sat and I read it again and again until once more convinced that I had talent that was being overlooked. I've heard it said that doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will, and I believe that. I took jobs I didn't want for the one I did. When I got passed over, I left that place for another one. I believed in me just as you should believe in you. Believe when nobody else does, especially when nobody else does. Look up, not down, forward and not back. I've learned the world gets out of the way for people who know where they want to go. I asked others more talented or more accomplished to provide me constructive criticism as a method of improvement, and I was fortunate that they were willing and rewarded for having the good judgment to ask. With that in mind, let me share now a Bill Parcells football metaphor that's actually his life philosophy. He's a Hall of Fame coach who won 2 Super Bowls with the New York Giants, and I covered him during his 4 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys. Parcells was a genius motivator. He could push his players beyond their perceived limitations. He reminded me of a speech he gave several of his teams. He said, listen, we're going to go out there, and they're going to hit us, and we're going to hit them. And we're going to be a little hurt, and we're going to be a little tired, and they're going to be a little hurt, and they're going to be a little tired. And it's what you do after that that counts. Sometimes it's just who can endure it the longest. Doesn't even mean you have to be playing better. You just have to be willing to keep going. Parcells said that helped him in his life. So you decide how that applies to you. If it doesn't, I predict it will. Eventually. It does to me. Even right now, at this very moment. During my career, our daughter had brain surgery twice. She married and lost her husband 4 years later to colon cancer at age 30. Having been among the hundreds laid off at ESPN exactly 2 years ago, right now I'm 4 months from the end of my contract. My insurance will expire at that time, and now I'm going to share something right now with you that's very personal and almost nobody else knows. My wife of nearly 37 years, herself a former UNC student, she's sitting up there in the box. She had surgery about 6 weeks ago. She's begun her chemotherapy regimen because she has breast cancer. So we confront adversity right at this very moment. And not to diminish all the great professors here, but I found that adversity is the best teacher of all. The Italian philosopher Seneca wrote that adversity is inevitable and not necessarily a bad thing because it teaches us, it strengthens us, it gives us an opportunity to prove ourselves. Disaster, he wrote, is virtue's opportunity. Another former UNC grad, Captain Sully Sullenberger, you remember him? Most famous of our alumni. He was just a pilot until he saved an entire plane full of people and crew in a moment of adversity. In other words, you're going to be discouraged at times, but don't let it linger until it becomes defeat. Refuse to allow it to destroy you. Instead, summon the wherewithal to endure it and overcome it and emerge from the experience a superior form of your previous self. Drew Brees overcame adversity to achieve his goals and succeed beyond expectations. He's a quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. The greatest 6-foot quarterback in the history of the game, one of the greatest passers ever, still starting at age 40, still setting NFL passing records, and he won a world championship. Here's what he wanted me to share with you today. Quote, in many cases, your greatest accomplishments come after your greatest setbacks, failures, or tragedies. My shoulder injury, he said. At the time, I thought my career was over, and this is the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. It led me to New Orleans, which turned out to be the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Hurricane Katrina, complete devastation. 85% of the city underwater, now has come back stronger than it ever was before. When that flood happened, New Orleans was at risk of losing its entire franchise. Instead, 3 years later, Breeze won the city its first Super Bowl title. Here's how Breeze finishes. Bottom line, when life knocks you down, that's when the opportunities come. But you have to be looking for them and be ready to embrace them. So be open-minded, listen, adapt. Social media and podcasting has kept me relevant the last 2 years. If you don't like change, you're really going to hate irrelevance. Cultivate relationships. Call, don't text. Value health and wellness and love because you can be rich without being wealthy. Realize that greatness isn't for the chosen few. Greatness is for the few who choose it. I'm going to leave you with this, and by that I mean I'm finishing, not literally leaving, if only because I don't think it's allowed. I think we all have to sit here for a while. This is the text of Bill Parcells' version of The Guy in the Glass, written by Dale Wimbrow in 1934. Parcells read this to his Jets team on his final day there about success, accountability, and truth. When you get what you want in your struggle for self, and the world makes you king for a day, just go to the mirror and look at yourself and see what that man has to say. For it isn't your father, your mother, or wife whose judgment upon which you must pass. The fellow whose verdict counts the most in your life is the one staring back from the glass. Some people think you're a straight shooting chum. 1934, that's what they call people. And call you a wonderful guy, but the man in the glass says you're only a bum if you can't look him straight in the eye. He's the fellow to please, never mind all the rest, for he's with you clear up to the end, and you've passed your most dangerous, difficult test, if the man in the glass is your friend. You may fool the whole world down the pathway of life and get pats on the back as you pass, but your final reward will be heartache and tears if you've cheated the man in the glass. So to the class of 2019, I say, believe in yourself, dream big, work hard, and be great at life. Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to thank Jackie and Tim for their words. Very, very inspirational as always. Thank you. And finally, thank Alumnus Werder for his very inspirational words and really providing a tangible example of what hard work, dreams, and belief in yourself can do for you in life. So very inspirational message. Thank you very much. What a glorious day. My name is Mark Anderson, and I'm the Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs here at the University of Northern Colorado. Among the many traditions associated with commencement is the presentation of the mace and the college banners during the processional. These items symbolize the graduates' accomplishments and the university's commitment to student success. The selection of the banner bearer is a special honor. Those serving as banner bearers today have been recognized and selected by their colleges based upon their academic contributions. Would our mace and banner bearers please stand and be recognized? In addition, we acknowledge our commencement marshals, deputy marshals, and marshal captains who serve as the leaders during these ceremonies. Would these faculty members please stand and be recognized? Thank you. Faculty members are fundamental to the success of our students and the university. Daily, these scholars and educators demonstrate the passion for superior teaching and foster the students' intellectual growth through their research and creative activities. Faculty members, please stand so that we may celebrate your contributions. Thank you. Today I have the honor of recognizing some of our most distinguished student scholars. Will candidates for the Latin honors, summa cum laude, magna cum laude, and cum laude please stand? To qualify for the Latin honors, these students have successfully completed 56 credit hours at UNC and have achieved the necessary cumulative grade point average throughout their academic careers. For the distinction of summa cum laude, these students have a 3.9 cumulative grade point average or above. The distinction of magna cum laude, these students have achieved a 3.8 to 3.89 cumulative student grade point average. The distinction of cum laude, these students have achieved a grade point average of 3.7 to 3.79. These students are identified by the blue and gold cords that they wear along with their graduation gowns. Individual honors will be acknowledged as students receive their diplomas. Please join me in congratulating the students receiving the Latin honors distinction. Would our University Honors, Scholars, and Leadership Program, as well as mortarboard students, please stand? These students can be identified by their gold stoles or silver and gold tassels, and we recognize them for superior achievement in scholarship, leadership, and service. Please join me in congratulating our Honors, Scholars, and Leadership and mortarboard students. Will the candidates who will be recommended for teacher licensure please stand? The University of Northern Colorado has a long history of excellence in teacher education. The candidates who have been recommended for teacher licensure wear light blue tassels. Thank you. Gardner Tucker, Dean of Students, will now present the 29th Annual Robert and Luddy Dickinson Presidential Prize for Leadership.
Hello, everyone. Great to see you today. As Dean of Students, it's my honor to be able to present the Robert and Luddy Dickinson Presidential Prize for Leadership Award, a $1,000 award. It was established by the 8th president of the University of Northern Colorado, and it was awarded in December of 1990. The award was created to acknowledge and reward student leadership on the UNC campus. To be eligible for this award, a student must be considered a leader by his or her peers, that means fellow students, faculty, and the administration. So it's a significant award because that recognition comes from all parts of our university. The individual must be a graduating senior, so it's lucky it's happening today, and have a minimum grade point average of 3.0. The students being awarded today, this is my favorite part, are unaware that they are receiving this award. So this will be a surprise to all of us. The first recipient is a philosophy and communication studies major, hey, whose involvement on campus included participating in Student Senate as a student rights advocate, serving as a small group facilitator for Catalyst, our social justice retreat, being an active and engaged member of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, International Film Series, and Black Student Union. In his spare time, it's amazing that he had spare time, He served as Multicultural Outreach and Recruitment Ambassador and was awarded Student Employee of the Year for the Office of Admissions in 2017. Please help me in celebrating Langston Mayo. Langston, please come up to the podium. Langston. Come on over here. Come to this side over here. Congratulations. Hold on. Let me give you a check. Stay up here. Okay. Our second recipient is a psychology major and recreation, tourism, and hospitality minor. Her involvement on campus included working with the Assault Survivors Advocacy Program, being an active member, engaged member of Panalytic Executive Board as Director of Recruitment and Director of Internal Affairs. Yes, let's hear some noise. Facilitating Mortar Board Honor Society meetings and recruitment, and planning and participating in philanthropy events for the Order of Omega. She served the Provost Scholarship and is a member of Sigma Kappa sorority. Please help me in welcoming Haley Phelan. Congratulations. Wait, face the camera. Okay, thank you both for your awards, and you may return to your seats. Please help me in thanking them again.
Congratulations. The laws of the state of Colorado vest the authority of the University of Northern Colorado and its Board of Trustees. We are pleased to have Trustee Paul Washington here to give the authorization for the conferring of degrees.
Thank you, Provost Anderson. The Board of Trustees extends its congratulations to our UNC graduates and their families. We are proud of your accomplishments and the significant milestone in your lives. President Feinstein, by virtue of the authority vested in the Board of Trustees for the University of Northern Colorado, and as a member of that board, I hereby authorize you to confer on this term's graduates the appropriate degrees as recommended by the faculty of the university. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Washington. Will the candidates for the bachelor's degrees please stand? By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you, individually and collectively, the Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Music, and Bachelor of Music Education degrees, with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining to these degrees. Thank you, students, and please be seated for the moment. The deans of the respective colleges will now present the graduates who have met the requirements for the degrees established and recommended by their college's faculty.
Good morning. My name is Eugene Sheehan, Dean of the College of Education and Behavioral Sciences. Why, thank you. Will the candidates receiving Bachelor of Arts degrees from the College of Education and Behavioral Sciences and the University College please come forward to receive your diplomas?
Nice. I want one of those. Oh, is he? Hi there. How are you? Brenda Barnes.
Sasha Arana Pelleras.
Denise Ramirez.
Basha Delano.
Shasta Ralston, cum laude.
Melinda Alanese.
Emily Werner, magna cum laude.
Hannah Hearn.
Angelica Sengendo.
Tanya Gantham.
Rosalina Ornelas.
Annalisa Martinez, summa cum laude.
Hannah Lauzea.
Kalisa McGeary.
Michelle Fernandez, summa cum laude.
Tina Marie Bates, cum laude.
Carmen Smallcomb.
Alondra Guijarro Marquez.
Jacqueline Turner.
Alexandria D. Portillo, summa cum laude.
Ivy Conley.
Alexander Helling.
Paola Aragon, magna cum laude.
Carlos Montes Mojica.
I get to read two names, Alexandra Kelly and Jacqueline Montour, magna cum laude.
Mackenzie Griffith, summa cum laude. Hannah Hasted, summa cum laude.
Miranda Zimmer.
Madeline Bushell, magna cum laude.
Kylie Fiskus.
Ashley Cernak.
Amber Smith.
Lainey Goddard, cum laude.
Sabrina Grimes.
Danielle Hammond.
Catherine Jones.
Sarah Braden.
Noelia Silva.
Hannah Burdorf.
Michelle Herzog.
Emily Williamson.
Marissa Benke, magna cum laude.
Alexis Uresti.
Alyssa Casillas, summa cum laude.
Samantha Wheatley.
Megan Bornhoft, cum laude.
Alexandra Newton, magna cum laude.
Crystal Ceniceros, cum laude.
Morgan Stone.
Alyssa Birnbaum.
Laura Stern, magna cum laude.
Mallory Bosch, summa cum laude.
Kayana Takafuji, summa cum laude.
Keisha Cheya.
Caitlin Vito, summa cum laude.
Mallory Arnold.
Dylan Bixler.
Victoria Wirt.
Sharand Boyd Jr.
Rachel Dixon. Kiana Domenio.
Nathan Scataboy, cum laude.
Elizabeth Ford. Megan Nord, cum laude.
Conley Marquez.
Sabrina Anderson.
Emily Booth.
Courtney Korkamp.
Madison Vogt, cum laude.
Lindsay Ford.
Carly Maloney, magna cum laude.
Sarah Jones.
Emily McBride.
Erin Gillespie, summa cum laude.
Jordan Marklowitz, cum laude.
Morgan Gertz.
Stephanie Kubala.
Taylor Harris, summa cum laude.
Katie Greenwood.
Caitlin Clark, magna cum laude.
Emma Hoffman, cum laude.
Brianna Jones, cum laude.
Madeline Hoffman.
McLean Hager, cum laude.
Madison Garkey.
Taylor Cabot.
Astrida Knunston.
Kinsey Winsheimer, magna cum laude.
Kara Perkaric.
Rafael Boteo, summa cum laude.
Samuel Kleckner.
Stephanie Livingston.
Monica Perez Nunez.
Danielle Peter.
Nicole Prazo.
Yaneli Morales.
Alexis Redmond, magna cum laude.
Michelle Ka, magna cum laude.
Molly Ritson, magna cum laude.
Katie Lawal.
Avery Sage, cum laude.
Lauren Falkenberg, summa cum laude.
Cheyenne Spraggins.
Sarah McMaster.
Faith Kramer.
Laura Huff, summa cum laude.
Whitney Bowerman, summa cum laude.
Sarah Johnstone.
Kaylin Walls, magna cum laude.
Brianna Rousey.
Elise Goodwin, magna cum laude.
Elise Green, magna cum laude.
Kaylee Roush.
Janae Werkel, summa cum laude.
Jocelyn Almanza.
Madison Kirkbride, cum laude.
Emily Roten.
Grace Lee, summa cum laude.
Nay Sanders.
Caroline Woodruff.
Tiana Baum.
Jaylene Parisi, magna cum laude.
Ariana Barato, magna cum laude.
Catherine Tricarico, magna cum laude.
Adriana Carrillo.
Alicia Benton.
Jessica Chavez.
Shauna Redler, magna cum laude.
Anna Crivia, cum laude.
Kathleen Roddy.
Jennifer Carter.
Amanda Lehman, cum laude.
David Damsgaard.
Courtney Dickerson.
Matthew Goodman.
Jackie Pulley.
Richard Herbst.
Lindsay DeTero Fighton.
Dustin Hickok.
Kathleen Newens.
Abigail Giles.
Jennifer Ayers, summa cum laude.
Laura Hudson.
Lexi Bowman.
Victoria Johnson.
Samantha Caputa.
Hunter Katona, summa cum laude.
Lynn Karsrud.
Shanoa Kinimaka.
Sarah Crosson, cum laude.
Carrie Koshik, magna cum laude.
Reina Garcia.
Christina Ramirez.
Ali Hensel.
Misha Lauer.
Kimberly Hernandez Fausto.
Samuel Long.
Shayla Honeybine, magna cum laude.
Jacob Levine.
Abby Hunter.
Ryan Marsh.
Joseph Knapp.
Joshua McKeon.
Lacey Keefe.
Donna Michaud.
Alicia Laverne.
Melina Nolte.
Kristen Lawrence.
Elizabeth O'Connor.
Josh Matz.
Isabel Ortega.
Claire Leos.
Haley Phelan.
Julia Ludwig.
Maya Post.
Hannah McAvoy.
Rachel Prophet.
Christopher Minch.
Cameron Richmond.
Summer Rains, cum laude.
Madison Roberts.
Sydney Musish.
Taylor Kochevar.
Cynthia Viescas Valdez, magna cum laude.
Joseph Rosengrantz.
Tanya Therol.
Benjamin Schleiger.
Claire Witt.
Elvia Vasquez.
Maggie Olson.
Catherine Trepkowitz, summa cum laude, excuse me.
Emily Paduch.
Sage Sweet.
Alana Reed.
Julia Torres.
Emma Rogers.
Carly Cap.
Gabriela Sanchez, summa cum laude.
Jason Anders.
Carlene Brown.
Jessica Wart Ridley.
Katie Templeton.
Renee Salazar. Deanne Zolke, cum laude.
Anastasia Roberts, magna cum laude.
Jessica Spate, summa cum laude.
Lillian Canfield, summa cum laude.
Laya Shafee Holigi.
Rachel Sprague.
Tasha Westhoff, magna cum laude. Kyle Hodges Clark. Robert Velasquez.
Good morning and congratulations, graduates. My name is Laura Connolly and I am Dean of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Will the candidates for Bachelor of Arts degrees from the College of Humanities and Social Sciences please come forward to receive your diplomas?
Yeah, I have it.
Special thing.
Right there.
She's going to do it. She's going I know, but there's something he uses them. They said she's got it. She's got it.
John Severance Medeiros. Monique Becker.
Brianna King.
Ryan Demuth, summa cum laude.
Halima Alicia Muhammad.
Randy Olson.
Cody Moskalski.
Alyssa Andrew, magna cum laude.
Shelby Bundy.
Grace Vigliotti.
Alondra Carranza Arroyo.
Leah Victoria Wallace.
Sandra Toka.
Sarai Faye Atchison.
Katya Chavez.
Grant Lanning.
Gloria Ordonez.
Keaton Mott.
Christopher Blacker.
Vincent Gonzalez.
Sahal Negash.
Dennis Kagan.
Miranda DeLay.
Madison Elsie.
Josh Marcial.
Esther Luce, cum laude.
Savannah Dowd.
Luke Mont.
Alexandria Sonoki.
Haley Peterman.
Jesse Middleton.
Morgan Patton, summa cum laude.
Hannah Wethington.
Ryan Alcala.
Kobe Dowell.
Dean Lawson.
Rebecca Freeman.
Caden Maher.
Brooke Pearson, cum laude.
Skylar Williamson.
Eric Larson.
Nathan Buttry.
Kamari Williams.
Henry Irick.
Marshawn Cameron.
Lucas Milkey.
Kahari Bailey.
Jonathan Garcia Ramos.
Peter Mitchell.
Franklin Lopez.
Noel Reed Jr.
Tony Amber.
Ashate Johnson.
Doris Dedich.
Ashley Register.
Samantha Lytle.
Zoe Campbell.
Molly Demers.
Chase Crabtree.
Matthew Valdez.
Taylor Hedinger.
Magna Garcia.
Sierra Wilkerson, summa cum laude.
Zoe Martzoff.
Michaela Castro, magna cum laude.
Jessica Reed.
Maria Pizzeno.
Hannah Brown.
Miriam Hernandez, summa cum laude.
Taylor Brake.
Nadia Rascon.
Amanda Cervantes, cum laude.
Alexis Cano.
Coulter Carroll.
Catherine Parra.
Kathleen Glauner.
Annalise Engler.
Alicia Garcia.
Jade Cisneros.
Sierra De Leon.
Darius Shepard.
Sierra Joins.
Oluwatobi Ogunmodere.
Megan Jans.
Alexis Lopez.
Rayanne Nowak, cum laude.
Mallory Tuckinen.
Nicholas Schreiber.
Samuel Garcia.
Sarah Ostrander.
Chloe Lamar.
Emily Christian.
Morgan Kendall.
Amanda Meister.
Kaver Sanchez.
Catherine Weber, summa cum laude.
Shaylin Burkholder.
Sarah Capone.
Madison Brown.
Angela Zawacki.
Martha Holy Shelter Kibosi.
Abby Packer.
Keaton Schumacher.
Olivia Talvinkel.
Amy Silas.
Tony Lozano.
Stephanie Gamble.
Dylan Cinco.
Giovanni Lucero.
Joseph Me.
Justice Luttrell.
Riley Morgan, cum laude.
Antoine Coates.
Omar Ochoa.
Evan Haskell.
Natalie Hansen.
Benjamin Mestog.
Hannah Atkins.
Jacob Lanier.
Tierney Pennick.
Victoria Harold.
Derek Salazar.
Paige Yeager.
Michael Kritzinger.
Ashley Sanford.
Madeline Lockett.
Brett Putstuck.
Peter Douglas.
William Stelzner.
Addison Linen.
Dylan Cram.
Jacob Ember.
Jacob Alpert.
Nicholas Schmaltz.
Zach Grotto.
Jordan Rodriguez.
John Singer.
Romario Leal.
Christopher O'Hagan.
Jacob Rockwell.
Maggie Chizeski.
Clark Ellis, summa cum laude.
Dallas Janacek.
Megan Harity, cum laude.
Braden Carlton.
Sophia Alberg, summa cum laude.
Austin Carpenter.
Jessica McComb, summa cum laude.
Emmanuel Alcaraz.
Alyssa Moore.
Logan Powell.
Meredith McGowan, cum laude.
Landon Archuleta.
Taylor Mickelson.
Calvin Shepard.
Zachary Garton.
Catherine Fassbender.
Indiana Kamen.
Madeline Sheen, summa cum laude.
Hayden Kiefer.
Lacey Durham, magna cum laude.
Anatoly Report.
Samuel Schenecker.
Eric Lutz.
Beatrice Gonzalez Amador.
Mackenzie Steck.
Alejandra Martinez.
Aaron Hawkins.
Dylan Graves.
Natalie Fleming. Kennedy Trujillo.
Ludmila Grishina, summa cum laude.
Jason Goosens.
Gabriel Martinez, cum laude.
Seth Baker.
Eric Tavares, cum laude.
Maureen Cummings.
Ryan Chavez.
Kaylee Miller, magna cum laude.
Cameron Taggart.
Corey Mayfield. Brianna Hobby.
Tyler Weber.
Nayeli Cruz Contreras.
Taylor Wickham.
Thomas Wan, magna cum laude.
Amy Eulenstein.
Kayla Carey, summa cum laude.
Molly Bridell.
Shane Bora.
Tajane Walker.
Andrew George.
Seth Rees. Dorian Wilkerson.
Shelby Scrivener.
Samantha Cooley.
Brenna Solano.
Olivia Skinner.
William Bliley.
Joshua Rogerson.
Nathaniel Penrod.
Drew Hydrashite, summa cum laude.
Marin Barger.
Julia Subchuk.
Josie Marron Herrera.
Nicholas Bailey.
Daisy Garcia.
Don McQueen.
Garrett Poncerella.
Relia Abukar.
Peyton Farabee.
Hang on. Dylan Thompson.
Patrick Parker.
Zach Williams.
Hannah Adler.
Charles Robert Marchesi III.
Kiana Wrighthouse.
Gianna Bueno.
Anna Boyle, magna cum laude.
Roberto Escamilla.
Keely Minor.
Ben Mahoney.
Lauren Munson.
Jay Mahoney.
Christine Bell, cum laude.
Lee Mahoney.
Brett Johnson.
Rachel Garber, summa cum laude.
Emily Breckbill. Anna Brown.
Michaela Stephan, magna cum laude.
Michael Loddick.
Abigail Hutchings.
Carly Reinhardt, summa cum laude.
Anthony Cordova.
Justin Manter, cum laude.
Colin Chauncey.
Kyle Faust, cum laude.
Derek French.
Brittany Martinez.
Harmony Fisher, magna cum laude.
Betty Gabriggs Zobhair.
Emily Smith.
Amy Golden, summa cum laude.
George Blankley the Fourth.
James Connellan. Erica Sebring, summa cum laude.
Tejon Johnson.
Mary Harbert, cum laude.
Langston Mayo.
Well, wait a second. Renee Ortiz, cum laude.
Jonathan Dawson.
Alexander Eksted, summa cum laude.
Demetrius Graves.
Joseph Buchanan.
Flor Mendoza.
Lucas Mullins, summa cum laude.
Mohammed Muhammad.
John Polydoris.
Colin Goss.
Cassandra Truelson.
Thomas Jackson.
Sarah Methuselah.
Corey Williams.
Steez Martinez.
Andrew Barnes.
Courtney Lockey, summa cum laude.
Teresa Garcia.
Zachary Wilkinson.
Allison Powell.
Calicia Monroe.
Kristen Caniva, magna cum laude.
Adam Garcia.
Nicole Casey.
Brianna Yeager.
Lobna Al-Sarraj, magna cum laude.
Nicholas Allen.
Nayeli Contreras Rocha.
Mandy Lavery.
Henry Wilmot.
Nicole Flores.
Whitney Strohauer.
Brooke Pavlis.
Lisa Duffy.
Tammy Ortiz.
Taylor Radicke.
Megan Kunitzer, summa cum laude.
Callie Lincecum.
Sarah Spriggs, magna cum laude.
Dylan Carney.
Bailey Alberts.
Joshua Parsons.
Peyton Rogers.
Markeisha Draper.
Taylor Hummel.
Alicia Smith.
Alyssa Rios.
My man Patrick Gallagher.
China Crone. Patrick Carlson. Madison Gates.
Excellent job, Chad.
Jocelyn Arianes Ramirez. See you again. Darcy Fitzik. Angel Archuleta. Javel Pearson. Sydney Neville. Lee Chen. Trenton Sperry. Krista Martes. Connor Jennings. Alex Ayers.
I'm hanging tough.
My name is Paul Bobrowski, Dean of the Montfort College of Business. Will the candidates receiving the Bachelor of Science degrees from the Montfort College of Business please come forward to receive your diplomas?
Gotcha.
Trace Mulberry. Griffin Mueller, cum laude.
I'm good.
Ian Boyce.
Kolade Adikalene Ajay.
Alicia Maslick, summa cum laude.
Hakeem Diggs.
Chloe Garner.
Evan Short. Becca Aves.
Marcus Martin Wagren.
Jacqueline Seifert. Laura Cutler, magna cum laude.
Douglas Kloppenstein.
Barbara Lundenberg, summa cum laude.
Ashton Hall.
Courtney Waite.
Zachary Starbeck.
Adrian Strickland.
Brendan Markowski.
Justin Reiki.
Adrian Quinones Rivas, cum laude.
Matthew Hinsey.
Kiana Johnson.
Jada Harbin.
David Scheneker.
Lauren Nash.
Andrew Aberbrook.
Amy Dyer, summa cum laude.
Connor Lake.
Tyler Primer.
Ryan Lee.
Mark Raymaker.
Leilani Herrera.
Brendan Davis, cum laude.
Nathan Price.
Cameron Alkai.
Garrett Olson, cum laude.
Harmony Iona.
Jared Brockler.
Kenneth Herring.
Brandon McEldowney.
Sierra Freeman.
Stephen Pierce.
Jacob Peterson.
Richard Hill.
Rochelle Smith, magna cum laude.
Lily Kraus.
Megan Caston.
Kyle Guerrero.
Samantha Mears. Emily Luke.
John Adekild.
Taylor Seeley.
Hunter Rainwater.
Tyler Odoricio. Courtney Elterman.
Gloria Rodriguez.
Siraj Delone.
Mackenzie Poley.
Leanna LeBlanc.
Rebecca Flanagan.
Jeanette Espinoza.
Adriana Fiddler.
Evelyn Cruz.
Chelsea Sasayoka.
Megan Krogan.
Courtney Britt.
Cora Gottba Hewitt.
Alexia Moses.
Ben Jackson.
Hananya Sisai.
Elsa Shino.
Hayden Shade.
Kayla Rogers.
Greta Maggie.
Alexandria Massey.
Topher Aaron.
Christian Jenkins.
Cassidy Jones.
Shaquan Baines.
Lacey Porteous. Garrett Hash.
Georgios Vakotisis.
Ostwin Trevisan Almeida.
Chrisanne Zeller.
Marley Catarusa.
James Carlberg, cum laude.
Courtney Casperson.
Brandon Willette.
Brandon Biggs.
Thomas Gilman.
Daisy Minna.
Seth Toller.
Spencer Harmon.
Tyler Marler.
Javier Perez Rodriguez, summa cum laude.
Robert Carver.
Jesus Quinones Rivas.
Matthew Shortle.
Robert Dean.
Nathaniel Bean, magna cum laude.
Victoria Scheller.
Lanson Nepper.
John Fisher.
Austin Carter.
Jill Gonzalez.
Tyler Adams, cum laude.
Catherine Haynes.
Casey Guzman.
Wesley Nowlin.
Casey Burklow.
Ray Sadowski, cum laude.
Nicholas Alm.
Fisher DeCam.
Chris Newby.
Oliver Bell.
Arian Garrett.
Jeremy Hansen.
Elijah Thompson.
Abijay Kin.
Luis Yanez.
Edward Russman.
Joseph Weissensee.
Nicholas Jewell.
Lisa Jens.
Molly Vatenavaran.
Mayra Mercado Ramirez.
Caitlin Schwartz.
Brenda Chairez.
Kelsey McDaniel.
Brett Lang.
Andrew Wynn, magna cum laude.
Austin Hampson.
Eric Sova.
Trent Polson.
Daniel Herrera.
Josh Crosley.
Sierra Royal.
Saleh Albishi.
Weston Senyu.
Dylan Presley. Benjamin.
Ali. Oops, beg your pardon. Go ahead.
Benjamin Mendoza.
Ali Asidi.
Ryan Reed.
Jacob Stoll.
Brady Buglin.
Raul Maldonado Jr.
Jake Wagner.
Cody Pittman.
Brendan Lyles.
Peyton Tapia. Chase Bodenhorn. Henry Mistro. Jeff Kenya. Matthew Perhats. Eric Schaefer. Billy Dabney III. Dante Di Leonardis.
My guy. Mr. Vince, appreciate you, man.
Goodbye, buddy.
You're my man. You're my man.
Edward Turnbull.
Good morning. My name is Burkhard Englert, Dean of the College of Natural and Health Sciences. So will the candidates receiving Bachelor of Science degrees from the College of Natural and Health Sciences please come forward to receive your diplomas.
Put some scotch over.
Don't talk about it. Yep.
Amber Foster. Amanda Rice, magna cum laude.
Just keep going, Bish. We're way off.
Delaney Jameson. Paulina Peach.
Liam Ireland.
Laura Jennings, cum laude.
Ryan Lawhead.
Chantel Trong.
Austin Moore. Leah Jones, magna cum laude.
Cameron Kennedy.
Kai McCaslin, summa cum laude.
Mackenzie Howie.
Lindsay Kane, magna cum laude.
Kyle Rodriguez.
Claire Volsky, magna cum laude.
Jacob Lemka.
Amber Canelo, summa cum laude.
Michaela Kane.
Jacqueline Ulfers, summa cum laude.
Casey Mudrock.
Naomi Updike.
Taria Umatesi.
Taylor Duffy, cum laude.
Abrar Al-Johani.
Sarah Holt.
Bacon Bernard.
Ashley Sarney. Jessica O'Brien, summa cum laude.
Jesse Leachman.
Megan Horwath.
Alondra Acevedo.
Jessica Bali. Zachary Fluck, magna cum laude.
Ellie Oganeku.
Nicholas Johns.
Caitlin Yoshimori, summa cum laude.
Joe Dombro, cum laude.
Sydney Haywood.
Daniela Almeida.
Ashley Brown.
Allison Taylor.
Taylor Laplace.
Emily Papas, cum laude.
Jewel Mornington.
Liana Piran Medina.
Jessica Namesnick, summa cum laude.
Samantha Melchner.
Connor Henson.
Abigail Hayes, summa cum laude.
Ryan Hemphill.
Eliana Klein.
Cassandra Horgan.
Ashley Johnson.
Kiera Lovett, cum laude.
Madison Comstock.
Madeline Ward.
Natalie Link.
Muhammad Ahmed.
Kayla Pinson.
Jasmine Woodyard.
Susana Lopez.
Linda Ortiz.
Nof Aljabeli.
Eugene Pang.
Rebecca Parker.
Beatriz Rangel Garcia.
Ira Samara Gareda Govera.
Esmeralda Flores Garcia.
Eleni Thayer. Travis,
Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Travis Hansen, summa cum laude.
Luke Engelbert.
Ethan Hitchcock, cum laude.
Ali Teichman.
Kevin Meadows.
Andrew Mativi, summa cum laude.
Brittany Berry.
Jennifer Goddard, summa cum laude.
Abigail Lee.
Jordan Wedow, summa cum laude.
Shagun Oke.
Ashley Sandoval.
Ruth Ann Bush.
Amaya Pfeiffer.
Eden Vincent.
Jessica Bonilla.
Nathan Schultz.
Andrew Roth, summa cum laude.
Ethan Brels.
Margaret Davis.
Jeanette Warshak, magna cum laude.
Kevin Hatcoat.
Glenn Harter.
Erin Sporl.
Tiffany Briones.
Jessica Purdue.
Madison Meredith.
Morgan Boris, cum laude.
Abigail Westra.
Leanna Smothers, cum laude.
Ellen Tomko, cum laude.
Marissa Townshendo.
Jaslyn Selman.
Justice Aleman.
Brittany Epperhart. Atita Atumot.
Laura Haryu, summa cum laude.
Sadanan Sangwon.
Bridget Kavodi, summa cum laude.
Napatasawan Kampari.
Shanice Contreras.
Chatninda Jindarat.
Lydia Ward, summa cum laude.
Natalie Nicholas.
Sophia Izami.
Connor McVeigh.
Jordan Gided.
Adam Abdallah.
Kayla Anthony.
Kenzie Kuderna.
Samantha DiNardo.
Jordan Weatrak.
Alexandra Hubbard.
Cheyenne Talmadge.
Dakota Divich, cum laude.
Valerie Vidal.
Morgan Bloyer.
Madison Schmidt.
Samara Lushinsky.
Jacob Seeley.
Noah Soul.
Kayla Wymira, cum laude.
Colin Root.
Libby Harrington.
Nicole Krantz.
Amber Robinson, summa cum laude.
Alexander Taylor.
Caitlin Jones, summa cum laude.
Skylar Waite.
Kristen Hesse, summa cum laude. Madison Dahl, summa cum laude.
Colin Chamelka.
Sage Guagliardo, magna cum laude.
Scott Kimmel.
Samantha Agostino, cum laude.
Joel Cyrus.
Mackenzie Sadler, magna cum laude.
Katie Stover.
Madison Moon, cum laude. Nicole Pastier, magna cum laude.
Sydney Kimura.
Sarah Brannon.
Brianna Salonitro.
Dorothy Ajemang.
Carly O'Connell.
Roseman Owusu Sarpong.
Kayla Davis.
Malat Gabre.
Shania McDaniel.
Erica Macheka.
Bianca Avila.
Katie Nelson.
Stephanie Carrillo Ramirez.
Allison Rowan.
Tristan Irish.
Sydney Squire.
Bailey Sexton.
Leah Porter.
Peter Nelson.
Kylie Hansen.
Joanna Pullen.
Katie Lukens.
Emily Ireland.
Anastasia Bowers.
Christopher Coker.
Annie Baker, magna cum laude.
Matthew Weir.
Cody Dorman.
Caitlin Stunkard, cum laude.
Marcela Flores Jaco.
Braden Idem.
Bethany Knight.
Jacob Hooker.
Ashley Alonzo Holtorf.
Michaela Young.
Mariana Mosqueda.
Abigail Larino.
Morgan O'Donnell, summa cum laude.
Casey Sylvia.
Dominique Santee.
Kimberly Talbert.
Danielle Harris.
Megan Ritter.
Aaron Copeland.
Jessica York, summa cum laude.
Lorraine Franco.
Alexis Rose Hinckley, summa cum laude.
Adrian Ramirez Jr.
Paige Greiner, summa cum laude.
Mary Diorio, cum laude.
Jennifer Morris, summa cum laude.
Kaylee Peterson.
Brittany Ramirez, summa cum laude.
Jaime Rodriguez.
Molly Herbst, summa cum laude.
Robbie Blair.
Alexis Fabian, summa cum laude.
Thaddeus Strohauer, summa cum laude.
Marion Robillard.
Alexandra Matthews.
Shelby Dykeman, cum laude.
Alexandria Brownell, summa cum laude.
Morelia Edwards, summa cum laude.
Sean Wolven, magna cum laude.
Rachel Geller.
Shyla Crowder.
Erin Abella, summa cum laude.
Stephanie Anderson.
Jenna Waller, summa cum laude.
Michael Kelly.
Haley Williams, cum laude.
Hillary Hansen.
Cassandra Napunani Costa, summa cum laude.
Adriana Cameri, cum laude.
Pooja Karnamadekela.
Michaela Davenport.
Kelly Khan, summa cum laude.
Mariela Hernandez Cervantes.
Amanda Stillwell.
Bailey Almada.
Ashlyn Shiraishi.
Eric Leip, magna cum laude.
Laura Smith Green.
Adrian Garcia, summa cum laude.
Leslie Ubanowski.
Anna McGraw, summa cum laude.
Fabiola Padilla Vega.
Brianne Jure, cum laude.
Janet Navarro Perez.
David Castillo.
Sasha Valverde Perez.
Danielle Hurd.
Marissa Condos.
Kristen Dugan.
Madison Reuter, summa cum laude.
Kristen Kettler.
Arika Breidenbach, summa cum laude.
Tanina Cienfuegos Fijardo, summa cum laude.
Anna McCallie, cum laude.
Hannah Kakak, cum laude.
Taylor Plymell.
Kaylee McFarland, summa cum laude.
Kelby Rogers, summa cum laude.
Emma Hernandez, cum laude.
Grayson Tedrick, summa cum laude.
Jordan Martinez, summa cum laude.
Rachel Heeman, summa cum laude.
Tori Ortega.
Josie Lou Briggs, summa cum laude.
Dante Rodriguez.
Elizabeth Allison, magna cum laude.
Jenna DeBryan.
Kaylee Businger, magna cum laude.
McKenna Downer.
Natalie Hine.
Lorena Marquez, cum laude.
Lauren Sullivan, magna cum laude.
Kaylin Riley, summa cum laude.
Christina Lee, summa cum laude.
Ann Davis.
Abigail Landwehr, summa cum laude.
Evan Keeley.
Paige Anderson.
Taylor McKenna, summa cum laude.
Brooke Rayel.
Sean Vacchio.
Taylor Smith.
Sarah Carlson.
Claire Angrecht.
Janelle Schweiger, magna cum laude.
Monet Poland.
Isaac Lynn.
Sarah Yeager.
Bantita Yosiri.
Joseph Maletta.
Hannah Thayer, cum laude.
Caitlin Ferguson.
Shannon Donovan.
Crystal Garcia.
Leah Bruner.
Sparko Foos.
Erica McCormick.
Erica Jareggi.
Sophia Corcus.
Sarah Adams.
Charmaine Winston.
Ashley Keene.
Alexandria Rendy.
Diamond Lucero.
Taylor Lovato.
Destiny Robinson.
Hillary Stevens.
Jordan French.
Michaela Denton.
Quentin Snoffer, magna cum laude.
Jacqueline Ramsey.
Juan Avina.
Alexa Clough.
Sergio Chacon.
Lily West, summa cum laude.
Robert Ensley.
Sarah Masters.
Amelia Piotr.
Dylan Neer.
Bethany Seeley, magna cum laude.
Ryan Wask.
Brooke Duggar, summa cum laude.
Taylor Savage.
Carly Lincoln, summa cum laude.
Amanda Reno.
Bernadette Kopitsky.
Samantha Batal.
Noraya Tovar.
Katie Talbot.
Desiree Lopez.
Stephanie Schwen.
Daytwan Williams.
Elizabeth Anderson.
Kashan Terrell.
Sarah Fuller.
Donovan Allen.
Tori Hall.
Isaiah Swopes.
Kenzie Rose Brazali.
Rydell Stottlemyre, summa cum laude.
Shelby Boyce.
Brian Smith.
Brandon Hood Farley.
Tyler DeVerse.
Kendall Posey.
Alec Bennington.
Aaron Thomas. Alicia Thompson, cum laude.
Natakang Ketchang.
Claire Harris.
Arlene Cervantes.
McKenna McGrath.
Haley Wyman.
Jake Tagita.
Amalia Vasquez.
Veronica Amancio.
Roselle Dorman.
Mariah Herrera.
Leah Samai.
Dusty Jaffe.
Meg Vasallo, cum laude.
Nicole Markham.
Anna Mason, summa cum laude.
Morgan Kraus.
Carissa Bird.
Jordan Weston.
Nicholas Pender.
Megan Osteen, summa cum laude.
Michael Lucking.
Isaac DeTiro.
Emily Weber.
Casey Condrotis.
Lauren Debo.
Francis Bowles.
Lindsay Anderson.
Madison Wright.
Aveen Jaff.
Chevelle Chagoya.
Meras. Edwin Meras.
Morgan Mullen.
Maximiliano Ortiz Alvarado.
Brandon Pettinger.
Marco Galindo.
Ian Smith.
Uriel Gomez.
Josiah Stangoni.
Tanya Gallegos Campos.
Jenna Lee Molina.
Tanner Bashaw.
Chase Pop.
Madeline Fairbrother, summa cum laude.
Tiffany Ryer.
Ella Davies.
Randall Rudolph II.
Caitlin Detlefson, summa cum laude.
Blake McMaud.
Anna Battersby.
Jodeci Ivara.
Jillian Winkleman, summa cum laude.
Rochelle Rosa.
Madison Schlechten, magna cum laude.
Kenzie Hull.
Jaime Estrella.
Morgan Thompson.
Dominic Romero.
Megan Leip, magna cum laude.
Julia North.
John Reed, magna cum laude.
Sadie Smith, summa cum laude.
Brady Barker.
Jade Graham, magna cum laude.
Evan McDermott, summa cum laude.
Taryn Walker, cum laude.
Dylan Ellis.
Alexander Kurtzman, cum laude.
Ricky Herr.
Braden Svensson.
Kendra Holtkamp, summa cum laude.
Kiefer Glau.
K.K. Martinez, cum laude.
Griffin Shreves.
Kaylor Waibara.
Andrew Bry.
Danielle Lopez.
Sarah Viscovi II.
Matthew Smith.
Eric Stops.
Brandon Nygaard.
Aaron Pruder.
All right. My name is Kiki Gilderhus. I am the interim dean of the College of Performing and Visual Arts. Y'all are beautiful. Will the candidates receiving Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Music, or Bachelor of Music Education degrees from the College of Performing and Visual Arts please come forward to receive your diplomas?
Kimberly Fair.
Okay. Abby Atkinson.
Larry Ward Jr.
1 second. This is crazy.
Allie Herman.
I got you. Emery Stalker, magna cum laude.
Aubrey Martin, summa cum laude.
Anna Ritzby.
Danielle Selke, magna cum laude.
Camry Flores.
Cassidy Stratton, magna cum laude.
Samantha Knies, cum laude.
Luis Castro.
Morgan Monroe.
Moises Gomez.
Jessica Slocum, summa cum laude.
Jeffrey Halima.
Madison McMullen.
Nicholas Carlson.
Emily Burke.
Ethan Funkbray.
Angelina Antilla.
John-
Kenzie Bartels.
John Crisanti.
Jacob Collins.
Bailey Archibald.
Kirsten Bruning.
Savannah Smith.
Taylor Duryea, cum laude.
Haddison Rensberry.
Shelby LaFawn.
Jenny Lee.
Diana Carro.
Shauna Pitzer, magna cum laude.
J.B. Luke, cum laude.
Cameron Sargent, summa cum laude.
Joseph Carrasco.
Catherine Hughes, magna cum laude.
Henry Delargy.
Susie Kwok, cum laude.
Connor Shaw, summa cum laude.
Tyler McKisson, cum laude.
Alan Adair, cum laude.
Jessica Bachman, summa cum laude.
Copeland Rose, cum laude.
Cole Izuli.
Ryan Lepic, cum laude.
Ariel Myler.
Spencer Zweifel, summa cum laude.
Jonathan West.
Nicholas Anderson, magna cum laude.
Jennifer Roos, cum laude.
Jorge Castillo Avalos, summa cum laude.
Daniel Davidson.
Ian Fogarty, cum laude.
Karen Gonzalez.
Kristen Mellon.
Kyle Feuerstein.
Evangeline Nelson.
Emily McMichael.
Sheilyn Lynchy.
Jordan Sailors.
Tanapol Foshed.
David Raminsky.
Chawasit Romeanonda.
Kenley Nakau.
Nathan Alexander.
Miranda Garzaniti, magna cum laude.
Samantha Kersnick.
Amanda Douglas.
Nicole Harris.
James Slorth.
Nicholas Kunkel.
Gareth Root, summa cum laude.
Zoe Menke.
Alex Stark.
Christina Terreschuk.
Margaret Jones.
Benjamin Ludwig, summa cum laude.
Katie Metz. Michaela Bellamy, magna cum laude.
Brian Bathauer.
Josue Prieto Miranda, magna cum laude.
Sarah Thompson.
Lindsay Krause, magna cum laude.
Carson Barnhart.
Sarah Bunn. Cole Lafont, summa cum laude.
Henry Rodriguez.
Brianna Frida, magna cum laude.
Mo Labiaga Trevino.
Denise Newmerkel, summa cum laude.
Jamie Soto.
Delaney Garcia, cum laude.
Christina Garner, summa cum laude.
Lillian Bonacore, summa cum laude.
Marley Welch.
Benjamin Fowler.
Erica Johnson, summa cum laude.
Logan Traver. Cum
Bella
laude.
Byrne.
Julian Carey, magna cum laude.
Adam Hawkins.
Miranda Pearl.
Samantha Lee, cum laude.
Lauren Johnston, summa cum laude.
Joel Bunser.
Sophie Klein.
Mandy Shermack.
Tessa Robinson.
Allison Sullivan.
Mark Vedra.
Alyssa Baumgartner, cum laude.
Gabrielle Howard, magna cum laude.
Parish Salyers.
Matlin Fredel, magna cum laude.
Chris Carranza.
Dana Thompson, cum laude.
David Tonner.
Mark Esch.
Alexa Hall.
Sawyer Versaw.
Rebecca Roper.
Terry Benavides III.
Victoria Sergiuk, summa cum laude.
Wyatt Stevens.
Amy Dollar, summa cum laude.
Silapob Janta.
Christy Oberndorf, cum laude.
Paul Ritchie.
Vincent Wilson.
Samuel Burns.
Haley Smith.
Charlie Stevens, summa cum laude.
Austin Mirsultani.
Taylor Vaughn.
Paolo Chiossi.
Tyler Etherton, summa cum laude.
Shantae Davis.
Marissa Swanson.
That's tough. Jalen Dean.
Bethany Hopkins.
Paige Gato, summa cum laude.
Mackenzie McLuhan.
Christina Maraldo.
Trevor Thomas, summa cum laude.
Kaylee Arnsman. Nicole Lewis, magna cum laude. Danielle Richer, summa cum laude. Julia Carnival. Zachary Walls. Quinn Avion.
Well, thank you, and please be seated. Graduates, you have finished this chapter in your journey as a lifelong learner and are ready to work on the next one. Whether you are starting your dream job, going to graduate school, or setting off on your path with some uncertainty, be confident. While none of us can be entirely certain about the path our journey will take, you can be certain that you are prepared to navigate whatever lies ahead. You work hard to get to this point, and that will serve you well as you choose which roads to take. It is now my pleasure to introduce Jill Trotter. Jill leads the UNC Alumni Association Board of Directors. She holds a Bachelor's of Arts in Speech Communication from UNC. Jill is an active volunteer on campus and in the Greeley community, and she's a wonderful person. Please welcome Jill Trotter.
Thank you, Andy. As I sat back here, I saw so many familiar faces walking across the stage. Tyler, I taught you for 6 weeks in first grade. How far you have come. Seth grew up down the street, used to ding-dong ditch me. I'm so proud of you now. And several young women that I had the pleasure of advising for several years. It's so great to see so many happy faces, whether I know you or not. I congratulate you. And I welcome the class of 2019 to the UNC Alumni Association. You are a part of a network of more than 130,000 UNC alumni worldwide, so wherever you go after graduation, you will never be too far from another bear. Remember this network, whether your next steps take you to a classroom, a boardroom, or a Broadway stage, because we are here to support you just as you will support the graduates who follow you. As you move forward, maintain connections with your friends, your professors, and the university. Use the BEAR network to your advantage as you search for a job, find new places to call home, or look for ways to stay connected to UNC. Will everyone who is a UNC alumnus or alumna please stand? That's all of you. Look around you, graduates. This is your network. These are your fellow Bears. Thank you, alumni. You may be seated. Graduates, celebrate today. However, this is not the finish line that defines your life. Go beyond today and make a positive impact in the world, personally and professionally. This impact will define your life and distinguish you as an alum of this great university. Regardless of where life takes you, you will always be connected to UNC because remember, graduates, once a Bear, always a Bear. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Today, our alma mater will be sung by Alan Adair. Thank you, Alan. The graduating class of 1910 left as its gift to the university an entry gate on 10th Avenue, which was inscribed with the motto, "Rowing, not drifting." This resonates with me as a powerful, relevant metaphor, a reminder to be purposeful. As you leave here today, I hope you will take time to reflect on the rowing you have done to earn your degree. And I encourage you to be fearless rowers in all of your pursuits. In just a moment, the University Commencement Band will perform the recessional. With the audience and graduates, please remain seated until the stage party leaves the field and you are dismissed by the commencement marshal. And finally, graduates, as a symbol of your transition from student to alumni, you may move your tassel to the left side of your mortarboard. Congratulations, graduates, and I now declare the spring 2019 undergraduate commencement ceremony to a close. Have a great day.